Hi folks, Slick Slices here. Now, I've been away for a little while and I owe a little apology, particularly to the Eggington group, but to all my viewers as well, because we've had no videos now for over a month. Now, the reason for that is mostly that I spent most of that month in hospital. I went in on the 2nd of June. This actually arrived on the Friday before, but I went to shoot a video on the Saturday, but I wasn't feeling great. I woke up on the Sunday morning feeling very ungrate, and so cut a long story short, I was rushed up to hospital, blues and twos. I had sepsis and was quite unwell for a few days. However, I responded well to the antibiotics. 3 weeks and a day later, I was released from hospital. Discharged, sorry, not released. It's not a prison, just feels like it. And then a couple of days later I was readmitted because I took badly to one of the antibiotics I was given, something called rifampicin, I think it's called, and it really is not a very nice medicine. Anyway, cut to the chase. This was sent to me by the Eggington brothers. It arrived 2 days before I went to the hospital, as I say, and so I haven't been able to show a video of it. Now, they send this to me so I can show it on here and hopefully you'll buy them. So I don't really, in a way, don't owe them anything for that, but I do owe them at least to show it to you and not just to pop it in my drawer and say I've got another knife. So I do need to show it to you and show you why I'm quite happy to have this knife and happy to put it in the drawer along with my collection of Eggington, sort of Weston Rodgers, other Rodgers, so Joseph Rodgers and William Rodgers. They have both trademarks, and they also have the Ibison trademark, and they make things in their own names as well. So yes, 2 minutes in and I still haven't even opened the box. Right, what's in the box? Well, we've got the Joseph Rodgers, the trademark on the front of it, granted 1682. But that's not quite the whole story, because Joseph Rodgers haven't been trading with that trademark all of that time. Now, you ever wonder why I don't do unboxings on camera? Well, because I'm not very good at it. But hey, hopefully we can get this out. There we go, there we go. Here we are, we have the knife. Now, as I say, the trademark, the Star and the Maltese Cross, were granted in 1682, but they were actually only acquired by Joseph Rodgers in 1764. Let's get this little knife out. That's 160 years ago, and the purpose of this knife here is to celebrate that 160th anniversary of acquiring the Star and Maltese Cross trademark. Now, I do not know what the Star and the Maltese Cross mean. I have tried really quite hard to find out. There must be a significance to them, because the Maltese Cross comes up in the file work that's done on the back of Arthur Wright knives. It's very specifically there, and it certainly is in the trademark here, but I really don't know why they are what they are. All I know in this instance is that if you see a Star and Maltese Cross together, you can reasonably assume that the knife was made under the Joseph Rodgers trademark. Now, this knife is actually made by the Eggington brothers group, who own, as I say, the Joseph Rodgers, William Rodgers, the Weston IXL trademark, and the Ibison Double Sharp trademark. And their head knife maker is Stephen Cocker, who made a couple of knives for me recently. I think I've got 5 of his now, made by him in his home workshop. This one is made in his day job. Now, whether he made this or one of the people under him made it, we'll never know. But one of the things that has been done here to make this anniversary knife is there's a bit of a tribute to Trevor Ablett. Now, Trevor Ablett was a knife maker whose, in a way, his legend kind of lives on because he sold a lot of his equipment and patents and so forth to Michael May, who is still working in Sheffield and to this day, and has an apprentice, James. So they're going from strength to strength too. But a couple of things that are distinctive about Trevor Ablett's work. Well, one of the main things is he tended to use brass bolsters. Now these are satin and he tended to be more polished. But the other thing is he quite often used this wood. Now I don't actually know what wood it is. It's a sort of like a teak or something like that. It's very nice, very attractive wood. Or mahogany it could be, or I don't know, something like that. But the point is, this wood actually belonged to Trevor. Now, I don't think he's with us anymore, but he sold off, as I say, a lot of his equipment. He sold off some bolsters with the Royal Cutlers Company of Hallamshire crest on them, and I showed that when I did the last of these limited editions, which was also Barlow, but it was in the IXL name, and it had the crest on there was celebrating 400 years of the Royal Company of Cutlers of Hallamshire, which is effectively the Sheffield Cutlers Company. So anyway, one thing he also sold off was a pile of wood, the wood that he used for covers. So this is some of his wood that was sourced from him. And it's very nice. You'll see on the back here that we have brass liners. These, I don't think they're quite brass bolsters, but they're more of a brass look than a traditional nickel silver would look like. As near as nickel silver. Actually, this one's a bit brassy as well. That's what nickel silver normally looks like. So I think that's probably a tip in the hat to Trevor. As I say, we've got brass pins, brass bolsters, brass liners, and pretty good fit and finish. I mean, remember, these are factory-made knives. Now they're handmade in a factory, but they do produce a lot of them in a relatively short period. Now, this particular pattern, there won't be a lot of them. You will see that they have the there are 260, because this is the 260th anniversary. This one is numbered 007, which I thought was a great number to have. I don't know if 007 has universal appeal, but I'm a big fan of the James Bond books, not so much of the films. I think they get a bit wild, but I think the books were brilliant. So this is number 7 of the 260. 260 being, of course, the anniversary that we're celebrating here. So let's have a look inside. Oh well, didn't quite manage it, but we're pretty close. Right, let's have a look at this knife. The first thing it has, other than what we've already looked at on the bolsters, is it has this etch on the blade, which, if I can get the light right, oh there we are, 1764, Star and Maltese Cross, 2024. So it's 260 years. I said at the beginning it's 160, it's 260 years. And if I can get this to show again, we have again the Star and Maltese Cross, Rodgers, stainless, and then it says inoxable or stainless steel. Yeah, and then on the back, made in Sheffield. Come on, focus. made in Sheffield, England. And again, we have the 007 of 260. So I quite like that. I like these numbered editions, but I do like those when they number them and there are a number of so many. Because I've got some, like the Zvelling ones, the J. Henkel's Zvelling, that are numbered, but it doesn't say of how many. So, if this was 007 of anything, it still has some significance, but 007 of 260 gives me some sort of context of how many of these will be made. Now, they'll only be made, I believe, this year, and they won't be available afterwards. It's like the 400 ones for the Cutler's Company. They'll only make them this year, and once they're gone, they're gone. So, as I say, it's a nice little Barlow. We're talking here of the standard size for an Eggington Barlow, whether it be the Winston or Rodgers. They're generally the same size, about the same size as a Boker Barlow, a little bit smaller than the Taylor's Barlows, but it's it's a nice little knife. It'd be a good knife to put in your pocket. I should also point out it's got a spear point blade, which is not uncommon for Barlows, but not super common either. A lot of British-made Barlows tend to have a clip point. Occasionally you get ones with a lamb's foot, and very occasionally do you get them with a spear point. But the ones that Stephen Cocker made for the Stannington Barlow, he called it, which is where the Barlow really comes from, Stannington, which is in the sort of outskirts of Sheffield now, but it was an area known for knife making, and that's where the original Obadiah Barlow comes from. But it had a spear point blade, and so they're not wrong in any way, but they are perhaps a little bit more unusual. Again, obviously we've got a nail neck there as well to open it. It's a nice little knife. It's very well made. Fit and finish is pretty good. It's a bit sharper too, because the one criticism I had of the otherwise very, very beautiful gunstock that they did last year was that the blade was almost butter knife blunt. I always criticise that, because I think if there's one thing a knife should do, it's cut things. And these sorts of knives are not necessarily going to be sold to hardcore knife addicts like me, who, if it wanted to, could sharpen it. I probably won't carry these knives because, well, actually I've carried this one, but I probably won't carry them routinely, just because they're too kind of special to carry. You can show off with them, but in the main, they're not going to be everyday carry knives for me. But if you are not particularly a hardcore knife person, two things you really want. One, you need to be able to open your knife without ripping your fingernails out. And the other is that once you've opened it, you want it to be able to cut things without having to sharpen it. So these knives are reasonably openable. The action's pretty good. I suspect they lighten up with use, but even out of the box they are openable. I can open them. If I can open them, anybody can open them. But they're not so weak that they're going to just fold back in on here. But this one is reasonably sharp. As I say, the other one really wasn't. So I think we're getting improvement. The other thing I criticised the other one for was the action wasn't great, because it wasn't desperately clean inside. Now, I don't know, you're not seeing there, but This one is lovely and clean inside, and the action is very crisp and beautiful. And another person who bought one of these, an American, in fact Rick Warthog, he was saying to me the action on his knife is lovely and snappy, but again the blade wasn't that sharp. So they've got half of it right, even on the older ones, and this newer one that's just come out, they seem to have got both of those criticisms sorted. So I think that's about it. Not much more to say about this really, but I will do a kind of in-depth comparison of the three. One of them's in my display case, so that's why I didn't pull it out here. Shame really, because it's a Barlow. But anyway, if you like this stuff, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of this, please subscribe. And if you want to get one of these knives, they are available from Eggington's for the rest of this year. So you've not got that long. I don't know where the time goes these days. So get in there. There's a link to their website below, and there you go. Thank you very much. I will be doing a channel update video because I've got a pile of stuff to review, and I need to kind of crack on with it, which hopefully now I'm home and well, I'll be able to do. Okay, thanks very much. See you all again. Bye.